And certainly many people would like to live forever. Or at least for a long time. This is why, since ancient times, man has tried tirelessly to create the magic potion of immortality. But the truth is that since that time, there already existed in nature beings of great longevity, or that never die. Watch this video of animals that seem to have superpowers. Hello everybody. We are happy to see you again. Today we are going to show you 10 species that transcend time. They are almost immortal, so let's go. First, let's talk about the red hedgehog. The hedgehog can be very tedious as it hardly moves, but this species can live for a very long time. The most intriguing thing is that they had no trace of aging. This hedgehog can only die if it is a victim of disease or predators. A 100-year-old red hedgehog can live normally as a 10-year-old and still have a great chance of being able to reproduce. It is constantly growing. The largest hedgehog ever found measured 19 centimeters in diameter. ROUGHEYE rockfish. The ROUGHEYE rockfish is not only a fish that lives a long time. It is almost an immortal fish. It lives in the ocean at a depth of about 500 meters. It grows very slowly. This fish can easily reach 200 years of age, so it could cause its death. Just like other beings on this list, it is constantly growing. And that is the biggest cause of its death. As it grows, its movements become slower. This makes it unable to catch its prey or escape from its predators. Eventually, he withers away completely. Among aquarium fish, the only one with a similar longevity is the carp. In 1977, a 226-year-old carp died. The oldest carp in the world at that time. This carp was born before the independence of the United States. And if it had been a human, it would have lived for 8 generations, changing ownership several times. A few years ago, researchers discovered the oldest living mollusk on planet Earth. However, it was revealed that when trying to verify the age of this being, they ended up killing this mollusk of the species Arctica islandica. The mollusk was found in the Icelandic Sea in 2006. Without having any idea how old it was, they put the mollusk in a freezer. After that, it was taken to a laboratory where researchers from the University of Wales found that the mollusk was about 405 years old. This result was placed in the Guinness Book of Records, but recently new research was done, using more precise methods, revealing that it was actually 507 years old. More than 100 years older than the previous result. How far he might have lived if he had not been killed by mistake, we will never know. Now let's talk about turtles. We all know that they live for a long time. A healthy turtle can live an average of 150 years. In 2006, a 225-year-old turtle died at the Calcutta Zoo. The death was due to a crack in its shell. This turtle lived for about 130 years in this zoo. Meanwhile, the employees were passing it on from generation to generation. Another species that seems to have superpowers is the marine sponge. They live for many years. And it would not be an exaggeration to say that they are the oldest living beings on the face of the earth. Many people don't know that these beings are animals. They practically do not move and their growth is very slow. Due to their slow growth and their low metabolism, they can live for many years, depending on the species. For example, the marine sponges of the Antarctic Ocean are practically immortal. Researchers have found one specimen, reaching 1,500 years, but this was not a very amazing discovery. Since 2-meter-long sea sponges live in the Sea of Laos, it is believed that these species can reach an incredible 11,000 years. Up to 23,000 years. This is possibly the being with the longest life expectancy. Practically an immortal being. But next to the next species, the sea sponge is not that impressive. Let's talk about the amazing abilities of jellyfish. A jellyfish, called Turritopsis nutricula, It is born and grows, just like any other animal, but when it reaches a certain age, it reverts back to the polyp state, making it possible to grow again. If it were a human being, it would be like a 50-year-old man becoming a child again. This makes this living water practically immortal. Currently, geneticists and marine biologists are doing research to unravel how this rejuvenation is possible. One theory supposes that the cells in the body of this living water renew themselves completely. Only a predator attack could kill it. If this living water doesn't die of natural causes, under perfect conditions it could fill the entire oceans with its offspring. In this list we could not miss the tardigrades. This little being of only 1.5 millimeters. It may not be immortal, but it can survive even in the worst possible conditions. For example, even frozen for 30 years. And then thawed out after that. It still lived very healthy. And more importantly, it could reproduce. After that, they did the experiment of freezing a tardigrade at -193 degrees Celsius, inside liquid hydrogen for 20 months. And it still survived. They did another experiment of immersing it for another 8 hours in liquid helium, at -271 degrees Celsius. But that didn't do him any harm either. They also did the experiment of cooking him in water for an hour. And he was still alive. These results led the researchers to do bigger experiments. Using radiation. A human being would die when it reached 500 R. But even though the tardigrades were exposed to 5,700,000 R, half of them were still alive. Many more experiments were done, including sending them into space, but each time, most of them survived. Experts have come to the conclusion that if tardigrades could survive high levels of radiation several times, they could survive the collision of an asteroid, or even the explosion of a star. And also point out that this result may raise the possibility of the existence of other beings on other planets. Because if even on planet Earth we have an amazing being like the tardigrade, it would not be strange if others like them were living normally elsewhere in this universe. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We human beings are not immortal. But meeting with you is very important. And we are happy to strive to bring new and fun content to you. If you like this video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Also leave a comment so we know what you are thinking about our content. We have 2 more videos for you to watch.